sometimes within 6 hours or more often within 3 hours, caused by a number of things, but is most often due to extremely heavy rainfall from thunderstorm. The intensity of the rainfall, the location and distribution of the rainfall, the land use and topography, vegetation type and growth, soil type and soil water content all determine just how quickly the flash flooding may occur and influence where it may occur. Flash flood is possible everywhere. Urban areas are also prone to flooding in short time spans, and sometimes rainfall over an urban area will cause flooding faster and more severe than in the countryside. The impervious surface in the urban do not allow water to infiltrate the ground, and the water run off to the low spot very quickly. Flash flooding occurs so quickly that people are caught off guard. Their situation may become dangerous if they encounter high, fast-moving water while traveling. If people are at their homes or businesses, the water may rise quickly and trap them, or cause damage to the property without them having a chance to protect the property. In Malaysia, the worst of flash flood happened back in 1971, where Kuala Lumpur found itself submerged underwater in a major flash flood due to the monsoon rains. It was reported that the rain began a day after Christmas, 26 December 1970, and continued until 5 January 1971, which means more than a week of continuous rain. By 4 January 1971, almost 3/4 of the city was submerged underwater as Kuala Lumpur experienced what was known as the Great Flood. The continuous torrential rain caused major rivers in the Klang Valley, such as Sungai Klang, Sungai Batu, and Sungai Gombak to swell. The swelling of the rivers submerged almost 60% of the capital city. Various news reports say that Kuala Lumpur looks like an ocean at the time, and that at least 24 people lost their life. Apart from the loss of life, around 100,000 to 180,000 people were affected, and 38,000 people turned out to be homeless. The total recorded damage was around 85 million ringgit. As for now, flash flood still happen, where the latest is on December 2022 flash flood in Peninsular Malaysia. An official from the State Drainage and Irrigation Department said that the intense rainfall in Kelantan hit a record of 627mm on 18 December 2022, the highest since 1967. The deluge has affected over 66,000 people across the states of Terengganu, Kelantan, Pahang, Perak and Johor. As 20 December 2022, thousands were still housed in relief shelter after being displaced. In this flash flood, 5 people lost their life, where 4 in Kelantan and 1 in Terengganu that include 3 adults and 2 children.
Now moving on to the causes of occurrence of flash flood. The first cause is continuous rain. Continuous rainfall without stopping will cause flooding to occur. In low-lying areas, rainwater will be drained into rivers. The water-filled river will overflow out until it slams. Based on the Department of Meteorology in Malaysia's official website, under Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change, there are 3 constant heavy rain warning criteria, which are beware, bad, and danger. For the yellow sign, which is beware, constant rainfall is expected within 1 to 3 days, or thunderstorms are occurring but have not reached the severe warning stage. Next, orange signs, which is bad. Continuous heavy rain is expected with rainfall exceeding 60mm within 6 hours. Lastly, but the most importantly, red sign, which is danger. Very heavy rain continues expected with rainfall exceeding 150mm within 24 hours. The second cause is rapid urbanization process. This happens a lot even in our own country, Malaysia. The process of urbanization caused many areas to be modernized. Low-lying areas have been reclaimed by taking land from hilly areas. There are also tributaries that are buried to be used as building sites. Activities like these are factors that cause floods. If the creeks and valleys used to be used as water flow areas, now the areas have been buried with soil. When it rains, water will flow from hilly areas to low areas and then stagnate. Over time, the water will increase and flash floods will occur. The next cause is river corrosion. Frequent river corrosion is caused by 2 factors, namely natural erosion and human domestic waste disposal. Natural factors occur when it rains heavily. The water will flow heavily and erode the banks of the river. Eventually, the cliff will collapse and form a sediment at the bottom of the river, and the river will be shallow. Similarly, human activities that like to dump domestic waste, such as garbage and industrial waste, into rivers can cause rivers to become shallow and water flow block. When heavy rains fall, rivers that have become shallow due to natural erosion or pollution cannot cope with or deplete large amounts of rainwater. Eventually, the river water will overflow to the banks, and with this, flooding will occur. The last cause is clogged drainage system. The flooding problem that often plagues the city is due to the lack of drainage system built, and it is too small and shallow. The large amount of water caused the water to overflow out of the trenches, causing the flash flood to occur. Among the main causes of flash flooding in some parts of Malaysia are currently clogged drains and the weakness of the drainage system as a whole. The silt traps installed in the construction area are also poorly maintained, causing sediment and other materials to accumulate. This will cause clogged drains and invite flash flooding when heavy rain falls. Poor oversight, apathy and lack of provision are key factors why facilities in big cities are not well maintained. Lately, flash floods are also increasing, and every time heavy rainfall falls, some areas in Malaysia will be hit by the problem. This has affected road users as a result of some roads being flooded.
Next, I will talk about the effect of flash flood. There are two types of the effect of flash flood. The first one is primary effect, which are loss of life, building and other structure damage. Next, secondary effects, which are economic loss and also psychological damage. Without further ado, I will discuss on primary effect first. The first primary effect, immediate property damage. The power of flash flood can cause a lot of damage. In addition to the force of the water, flash flood can carry large debris such as boulders. This combination can cause heavy structural damage to homes, making them uninhabitable, and can carry away large pieces of property such as vehicles, electrical appliances, and also furniture. All the valuable property damaged in 1 second by the flash flood. People do not have much time to save their properties. The second primary effect, people become homeless. Flash flood cause houses to be flooded and damaged. They have no way to shelter. The government already provide a temporary shelter for those who are affected, which called temporary relief center, or in Malay we call pusat pemindahan sementara. The third primary effects, death or serious injury. Since they can occur without warning, it is no surprise that people can be seriously injured. Besides that, flash flood can occur at night while people are sleeping. This can increase the risk to get injured and death. The next primary effect, which is livestock, skill and farm are destroyed. When the flash flood happened without warning, all the farmers did not prepare to save all the pets like cows and sheep, and also green food sources like vegetable. The force of water can cause all the pets and green food sources thrown into the water, and it can cause huge losses to all the farmers. Next, destruction to road, building and communication service. Flash flood often carry away some trees along the river. This flood can destroy anything that they run off. Other than that, it can affect the communication service. This is because underground cable destroyed when the flash flood happened. All the victims disconnected to all the rescue. For example, what happened in Betaling Jaya Selangor, all the roads are closed to all vehicles. This is because the flash flood destroyed the surface of the road. The last primary effect, the flash flood can cause pollution. Stormwater runoff carrying pollutant and garbage into the river and also sea. It can cause water pollution. Basically, stormwater are infected by a lot of microorganisms. People need to boil water before consume it to kill all the microorganisms before drink. In addition, the flash flood can destroy the natural balanced ecosystem. Without further ado, I will discuss on the secondary effects. So the first one is economic loss. The government needs to pay all the damage loss like road, rail network, building, and also communication service. It also prevents the local business from opening. The high cost of the relief and recovery may adversely impact investment in infrastructures and other development activities in the area, and in certain cases may cripple the free economy of the region. Recurrent flooding in a region may discourage long-term investment by the government and also private sector alike. It can cause a slow development of the country. The last secondary effect, which is psychological damage. All victims that face with the flash flood may facing a trauma. This may be a first-time experience for them. They cannot cope with the situation and causing a trauma for them.
So how to prevent from flash flood happen in Malaysia? There are 4 ways to prevent from flash flood in Malaysia. The first step is warn people sooner. Next, stop all plantation projects on natural water catchment areas. And the third one is clean and check drainage around home regularly. And last one is install a home rainwater harvesting system. The first way to prevent the flood happening again in Malaysia is tell or warn people sooner. So it was reported that victims were angry at the government's slow response. A paper, Flood Disaster Management in Malaysia, said that they have an SMS alert that is being sent out to the police, army, meteorological department, and national security divisions. And early warning is very effective, as Japan's example showed us. They are always prepared for tsunamis and earthquakes. Do you wonder why? Because they have a warning service which sends out an alert, giving citizens a 10 minutes head start to get to cover. All over the country they have sensors to monitor seismic activities. Maybe we can install sensors to monitor water level on the ground too. The paper suggests that SMS should be sent to warn the rakyat themselves too, and maybe the SMS could include what to do and where to go to the evacuates area, so that the evacuates are kept informed all the time. SMS alerts should be sent to all citizens in flood areas. The Department of Irrigation and Drainage Malaysia (DID) is the one responsible for flood forecasting and warning people. At the same time, we already know that flood usually occurs during monsoon seasons. There's even a list of flood promo zone in Malaysia on Wikipedia. This shows us that it's not a lack of information that is the problem. Anyway, the Cabinet listened to the National Disaster and Relief Committee, or short term is NDMRC, proposal and agree to implementation an early warning system. So that's a start. Next way is stop and review all construction and plantation projects on natural water catchment areas close to the major river in each states. Water catchment areas play a crucial role in absorbing rainwater and preventing a drastic increase in the volume of river water during a heavy downpour. This prevents rainwater overflow because of the high volume of water and the flooding of surrounding areas. The government must protect all the natural water catchment areas in Malaysia and start making laws prohibiting construction and plantation work in these areas. Next step is we need to clean and clear drainage around our homes regularly. In other words, we need to clear drains that are clogged with rubbish to prevent flash flood during heavy rains. Local government should identify hotspots where members of the public frequently throw rubbish into drainage and catch and fine litterbugs by installing CCTV cameras or placing local council enforcement officers at those locations. They should also erect signboard prohibiting littering all those locations. Redesigning existing drainage system throughout Malaysia to make them wider and deeper. Most drains in Malaysia are small and unable to hold large volume of water during heavy rains, thus resulting in flash floods. Blockage in drainage systems is one of the main causes of flood, as water will accumulate in unwatered areas where there is no place for water to flow. It is important to clean drainage around your homes regularly or frequently to avoid rubbish, leaves and other debris piling up and block drainage path. You may also do work with your neighbors to monitor the drain in the neighborhood from time to time to ensure smooth flow of water, or contact the city's sewer department immediately if you notice severe blockage. Lastly, it is important to install a home rainwater harvesting system. This is because rainwater harvesting is not something new, but it is still an unfamiliar term for most people in Malaysia. It is an interesting concept to collect rainwater and reuse it for gardening and cleaning after it is filtered by the rainwater harvesting system. A rainwater harvesting system collects rainwater flowing from the roof and downpipes and stores it in the water tank for future use. According to Mr. Goh Zhao Jiong, which is Regional Business Development Malaysia of Waterco, Malaysia rainwater harvesting system is not only an environmentally friendly option that reduces water usage. Studies also found that this system also helps in decreasing rainwater runoff by collecting water in water tank, thereby avoiding potential overflow of drainage system during storms. A rainwater harvesting system can help to store rainwater to reduce water runoff and minimize the risk of flooding around the house areas.
As conclusion, flash flood have a very high possibility of occurring again no matter how proactive the measures implemented are. What the government can do is to fix technical and system errors which have worsened previous flood. The government should also look into alternative flood control measures which can effectively reduce the impact of flash flood in the long run. We believe that as long as the government and all citizens work together, it is possible that we keep the occurrence of flash flood around the whole of Malaysia to the minimum.